Hello everyone and welcome to Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast number 28. In the show this week, iTunes, feedback, and the first of the Big Finish crowded TARDIS characters, Tegan Jovanka. Some of you will be aware that the podcast was launched on iTunes this week. I took the plunge after weeks of thinking about it and a couple of very encouraging comments from listeners to the podcast on Facebook. I should explain that on iTunes I've started posting the podcast right from the beginning. This is to allow new listeners who join through iTunes the opportunity to hear the podcast right from the start. I'm posting on iTunes as much as I can at the moment, but my free server only allows me to post up to 2 hours of audio in any 1 month, so it will be about 3 months until the iTunes feed is up to date. When that happens, I am thinking about stopping posting on the Facebook page and just posting to iTunes. What do you think? Let me know on this post or by inboxing me at Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page or emailing me at respectthething@outlook.com. And speaking of feedback...
Come here, you scrumptious little beauty. A box?
Doctor, what is it?
I've got mail.
Our opening feedback this week comes from Russell Million, who says, "We'll definitely have to listen to some of the new ones." He's talking about the Big Finish audios, by the way. He goes on, "I have quite a few older Big Finish audios, but have been out of the loop for years and have just come back into it again. Plus my mate's been doing my head in recommending the 8th Doctor audios. We'll have to give those a listen too." Thanks for that, Russell. For my part, the more recent 8th Doctor audios are some of the best Big Finish outputs so far, and I'd certainly recommend them as much as I do the 5th Doctor plays. Melissa asked, "Do you have to buy all the episodes, or is there a service where you can just subscribe and listen to them?" Well, Melissa, details are available at www.bigfinish.com. But basically you can buy individual stories if you want to, or through the website you can take out a subscription. Stories are available on both CD and download, but do make sure you check out the Big Finish website for all the details. Finally, in this week's feedback, James Morrell commented, "I like how Peter Davison has matured in the role over the past 30 years. It's really interesting." Thanks for that, James. And yes, as with all the Big Finish Doctors, Davison's Doctor has indeed grown and matured over the years, yet without losing that childlike innocence that the 5th Doctor has always had.
Oh, great. Another gloomy corridor.
And now on to the main subject of today's episode, Tegan Mouth-on-Legs Jovanka, as played by Janet Fielding. Fielding, an Australian actress, is best known for her role in Doctor Who as Tegan Jovanka, a companion to the 4th and 5th Doctor. As Janet Claire Fielding, she made her debut in the Hammer House of Horror episode Charlie Boy, which aired in October 1980, just as she was announced as the new Doctor companion. Fielding also played Tegan on television between 1981 and 1984 and made a guest appearance on Jim Will Fix It in A Fix with the Sontarans alongside Colin Baker's Doctor in 1985. In 1982, Fielding married Daily Mirror foreign editor Nicholas Davies. Sadly, however, they were divorced in 1991. In 1984, she had a role in the ITV children's drama Murphy's Mob, followed in 1985 with a part in Hold the Back Page. In 1991, Fielding gave up acting to take up an administrative position with Women in Film and Television UK. While she maintained the position for only 3.5 years, she's continued to work with the group since, managing the skill set study on a successful Women in Television in 2009. After leaving her position with the group, Fielding worked as a theatrical agent, at one point representing Paul McGann when he took on the role of the 8th Doctor. She returned to acting and the role of Tegan for Big Finish production audio plays, including The Gathering, Cobwebs and Cradle of the Snake, amongst others, alongside Peter Davison as the 5th Doctor. She had shown reluctance in reprising the role in the past, but has confirmed that she'll be appearing as Tegan in further audio stories in the future. Fielding has also provided audio commentaries for several DVD releases of Tegan's Doctor Who stories. She also appeared in DVD extras for Frontier in Space and Planet of the Daleks, stories in which she didn't appear, but where she provided forthright critiques on the portrayal of female characters in the serials. Fielding has also worked as the head of finance for a charity, and is currently project coordinator for the project Motorhouse, a charity based in Ramsgate, which aims to regenerate the local Westcliff building into an exciting mixed-use venue where people of all ages can enjoy themselves and where the Thanet area's young people can be introduced to a business culture and get hands-on experience they need to feel confident about starting their own businesses. Although she's avoided fan conventions in the past, Fielding appeared at the Supernova Pop Culture Convention at the Gold Coast in Australia during April 2012. She's organised 2 Doctor Who conventions for 2013 to help her raise funds for Project Motorhouse. In September 2012, Fielding was revealed to be fighting cancer. In August 2013, she contributed to the one-off special Doctor Who Live The Next Doctor in an interview segment with other companions and doctors.
I feel like my stomach, my heart have swapped places.
Really? Then I'd avoid eating for half an hour.
Tegan first appears in the 4th Doctor's last serial, Legopolis. En route to Heathrow Airport to start her new job as an air stewardess with Air Australia, her Aunt Vanessa's vehicle suffers a flat tyre. Tegan enters a roadside police box to seek help, not realising that it's actually the Doctor's TARDIS. She is present when the 4th Doctor falls from the Pharos Project radio telescope and regenerates, and continues to journey with the Doctor and his other companions. She travels with the Doctor initially because her aunt was killed by the Master, although she still wants to get to Heathrow Airport and start her new job as soon as the Doctor can get her there. Tegan is stubborn, loud and direct, with a no-nonsense manner and not afraid to speak her mind. Her time in the TARDIS coincides with that of Adric, Nyssa, Turlough and Chameleon. While she often bickers with them all as well as with the Doctor, her strength of character keeps them together, and her loyalty and affection to her crewmates is unquestionable. She's close to Nyssa, and is especially saddened at her leaving. She's initially suspicious of Turlough, frequently referring to him as a brat, though they do gradually become friends. The Doctor notes that she is a good coordinator and often encourages her with the words, "Brave heart, Tegan." She's apparently able to speak at least one indigenous Australian language fluently and shows an ability to use firearms. Despite her strong front, however, her adventures with the Doctor eventually take a psychological toll. She's deeply upset by the death of Adric in Earthshock. After being left behind in Heathrow due to a misunderstanding at the end of Time Flight, she returns to the TARDIS in the next adventure, Arc of Infinity, which is set about a year later in Earth's timeline. During that period, Tegan had worked as a stewardess but had been subsequently fired. Soon after, she's once again possessed by the alien intelligence known as the Mara. Eventually, the carnage surrounding the events of Resurrection of the Daleks proved too much, and she bids an emotional farewell to both the Doctor and Turlough in 1984 London. Tegan Jovanka is one of the few companions of the classic series to be seen to have an extended family. In addition to her Australian Aunt Vanessa and her English maternal grandfather Andrew Verney, who was seen to live in the village of Little Hodcombe in The Awakening, her English cousin Colin Fraser was terrorised by Omega whilst backpacking in Amsterdam during the events of Arc of Infinity. Tegan's life after journeying with the Doctor is investigated in the Big Finish Productions' 2006 audio drama The Gathering. Although she finds it difficult to enter into relationships and is suffering from a terminal illness, she tells the Doctor that she has no regrets about her time with him and now appreciates her life to the full.
Are you sure that's such a clever idea?
And that's all we have time for in this week's show. As always, thanks for listening, and if you do have any feedback about the podcast or about the character of Tegan herself, do inbox me on Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page, leave a post on this post, or email me at respectthething@outlook.com. Also, if you've not yet subscribed to the iTunes feed, let me encourage you to do so, and please, if you could leave a comment or a review there, I'd be really grateful. So until next time, when we'll be looking at another of the crowded TARDIS characters...
Well, goodbye, my boy. You did quite well. Quite well. It's reassuring to know that my future is in safe hands.
Thank you for listening to Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all copyright and property of the BBC, and no infringement is intended.